Welcome to the Transportation Channel, where we take you behind the scenes and cover the latest innovation in all things transportation, covering land, air, sea, and space. Let's start today's episode with some pretty incredible planes. Firefighting is a dangerous job. Now imagine if your job is to fight a fire by air, going through smoke and the mountains of the Los Angeles wildfires. That's exactly what Canadian CL-415 Super Scooper planes had to do. Don't you love that name? They're built for firefighting, and they fly to the surface of a lake or an ocean and scoop 1,600 gallons of water in 12 seconds and take it to the fire. It is truly amazing to see these planes in action. Check out the Super Scoopers working the Palisades fire in the Los Angeles, California area. This video was being provided by YouTube channel Post Stephen Dye. Pretty incredible, right? There are only 160 Super Scoopers in the world, and the planes are built in Calgary, Ontario. CAL FIRE has been leasing 2 of these planes from the Quebec government for nearly 30 years. It's been a great partnership. Now let's travel to Japan, where there are over 80 million bicycles used for transportation. But where would you put all those bikes? Well, instead of cluttering sidewalks and streets, a company named Giken came up with a great solution. Look at this ingenious underground automated bike parking structure in Tokyo, with this segment from Jonathan B. Roy.
Under my feet are parked here more than 1,000 bicycles. At the surface, however, the only clues are those tiny and cute sheds. Welcome to the future, welcome to Tokyo. Each of these boxes can hold 204 bikes. The parking, called EcoCycle, is manufactured by a Japanese company called Giken.
株式会社技研製作所エコデザイン事業部の中越千尋と申します。
To park, you simply need to roll the bike's wheels into a groove and align its ID tag next to the reader. Then press the button, the doors will slide open, and the bike will be taken to an available spot.
自転車を取り出すのに待つ時間っていうのは専用の IC カードをかざしてから最短で8秒、平均でも13秒と高速処理っていうのが特徴になっております。
To bring back the bicycle, scan your pass over another reader and watch the magic happen. The installation goes more than 12 meters into the ground with a diameter of 8 meters.
でこの中に入ると今自転車固定されてますけど中に入ると開放されます。
The EcoCycle can park almost all types of bicycle, from the mamachari so common in Japan to road and mountain bikes.
All tires between 18 and 28 inch will fit up to a width of 55 millimeters, the equivalent of 2.1 inches.
Even electric bikes up to 40 kilograms will fit. Most of these facilities operate on a monthly subscription basis. Every garage here is connected together, so if I'm trying to open the wrong garage, the machine will indicate me the proper number.
Amongst its many advantages are protection against theft and bad weather, ease of use, and an improved management and monitoring of parking spaces. On the surface, it also appears more than 40 times smaller than a regular parking.
These structures are not permanent. They're installed as is underground, so they can be removed or relocated to another place. There's also an above ground version that exists, so you can place it, for instance, next to a building. In addition to being quick, safe, and easy to use, the EcoCycle looks good and frees up an enormous amount of urban space. There's only one inconvenience that comes to mind though. When will the rest of the world be able to finally enjoy it as well?
Now let's travel to space. Have you ever wondered how to fly a spacecraft? Well, here's NASA with a behind-the-scenes look at how it's done.
I'm Reed Wiseman. And I'm Victor Glover. And this is how we pilot the Orion spacecraft.
What are the differences between piloting an airplane and a spacecraft? I think the thing that I first think about is on a spacecraft, it's really all about attitude. It's really not about thrust and getting the airplane flying faster. The spacecraft is already going almost 38, 39 times the speed of sound. So we're really controlling the attitude. Where are we pointing? Where are we looking at out the windows? Where are our antenna and arrays pointing?
The software is the primary flyer of the spacecraft. I think that's the biggest difference, especially for a pilot coming into this who wants to get on the hand controllers and put the aircraft or the spacecraft in its proper attitude. In aircraft, the software is really helping the pilot, and I think now it's almost like we are helping the software.
So a couple of things we're going to do on Artemis 2, right after liftoff, we are going to detach the Orion spacecraft and service module from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, which is just a lot of words for our upper stage. During that, Victor will be physically flying with the rotational hand controller, the translational hand controller, and doing station keeping on this upper stage.
This phase of the testing will be to simulate the flying that we would do if we were docking to another spacecraft like our lander or to our gateway. I think we should show you how we actually control the vehicle. So we've been using terms like rotational hand controller. Rotational hand controller, we say RHC for short, and translational hand controller, THC for short. In an aircraft, you would have a stick and a throttle, but it's the things that you put your hands on to control the spacecraft. We will pitch, roll, and yaw. Those are the three axes in each direction. And then we will also go up, down, left, right, in, and out, and we will assess how precisely that we can control the spacecraft. But we mentioned earlier that the main controller of the spacecraft is software. And so the main way that we interact with the spacecraft is our
cursor control device, your absolute favorite. I know you love this
CCD.
thing. This thing, it looks awkward, it looks weird, but when you get to use it, it's actually a genius piece of gear, and I know it is your favorite.
Oh, it is. This is our primary way to interact with the spacecraft. And so what it does is it allows us to determine where we put our focus on the display. So I can move the cursor to a certain display, and then I can move the cursor around to interact with certain fields of data.
And it's one of the primary controllers because there are going to be times when we're under 4G, 8G maybe even, and we won't be able to lift up our hands and push the buttons on the display. So this is exactly how we will do it. There is far more information on these displays than we will need to fly this spacecraft normally. But if a system goes off, if something goes wrong, we can dig down into the lowest levels of the computer of all the systems here, and we can take a look, see what's failed, talk to Mission Control in Houston.
And then right next to the displays, you see switches and toggles and dials. And so we call those switch interface panels or SIP panels. If the rotational and translational hand controllers didn't work, we also have a backup to a set of switches.
Hi, my name is Jeff Simmerow, and I work for Lockheed Martin. We're here in the Exploration Development Laboratory, where we do integrated testing and verification of the GNC's flight software for the Artemis program. GNC stands for Guidance, Navigation, and Control. Guidance is basically where do we want to go? Nav is where are we? Controls is how do we get from where we are to where we want to be? This is the software that interfaces with both the translational and rotational hand controllers.
We call this whole stack up the Crew and Service Module, or the CSM. That is the crew module, the capsule, the spacecraft Orion, and then the service module made by our partners ESA and Airbus in Europe. And so this is where the thrusters that will maneuver us on the service module.
My name is Rashid Amikhan. I'm the lead of Assembly, Integration and Test team of Airbus, and we built the European service module in Germany. When the astronaut gives a command to go in any direction, the software is steering every thruster as needed. So it's a balance or a dance between the different engines. So if you provide thrust on one side, you have to counteract it on the other side.
Every time you touch the translational hand controller or the rotational hand controller, those thrusters fire. And those thrusters are right near us, and you can hear them banging. It's like bang, 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 bang as you're flying this thing around.
Going to hear it and feel it, and even though it's quite well shielded and that we're in suits and other things, you're still going to hear and feel those thrusters when they fire. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. I cannot wait until one of us takes controls and just steers this thing around and looks out at the Earth.
We'll be farther from the Earth than a human being has been in a very long time.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Many of our communities rely on public transportation to move large crowds of people to special events. See how Los Angeles, California is preparing for a car-free, transit-first 2028 Olympic Games. Here's the scoop from transit evangelist Paul Comfort and his show, Transit Unplugged TV, being brought to you by Modaxo, passionate about moving the world's people.
I'm Paul Comfort on the pier at Huntington Beach, California. And on today's episode, we're going to show you the city of Los Angeles like you've never seen it before, from the perspective and the lens of its transportation system. Because the mayor has declared that the 2028 Olympic Games that'll be held here are going to be the world's first car-free Olympics. Well, how are they going to do that? We'll find out on this episode as we talk to the city's transportation leaders and show you some of the food, fun, and culture of LA along the way. All on this episode of Transit Unplugged TV. We're walking on the stars here on Hollywood Boulevard. But stay tuned. Later, we're going to bring you the real stars of Los Angeles, the people that are making this city move. Here in downtown Los Angeles' historic Union Station, it's a multimodal hub. You can ride Amtrak anywhere in the nation. You can take MetroLink to any of the 6 Southern California counties, or you can ride LA Metro services anywhere in the city in LA County. A great transit hub and beautiful. Hey Anthony, thanks for being with us here today in iconic Union Station in LA, man.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
So tell us about your job here at the agency.
So I'm the Executive Officer for Communications, but specifically I oversee construction relations, all of our capital projects that are currently under construction.
Today I want to ask you about the D-Line. That's a big project coming up. It's kind of tied to the Olympics. Tell us a little about that.
The D-Line extension is one of our most exciting projects. It actually extends our existing D-Line from Koreatown all the way out to the VA Center in West Los Angeles. It includes 7 new stations and is approximately 9 miles long.
So the mayor has asked for the Olympics to be kind of a car-free, transit-first Olympics, I think. So how is the D-Line helping with that?
So we see the D-Line as being critical to helping with the Olympics. Not only does it provide access to downtown Los Angeles once it's completed, but also provide access to Westwood, which is the home of the Athletes Village in UCLA.
It's amazing that I don't think people realize how much planning goes into something, even though it's 3 or 4 years away. You guys are rocking on it now, aren't you? Full speed ahead.
We began planning back in 2023, and we're really excited about the opportunity to really get it right. This will be a new challenge for Los Angeles, and we're ready to meet the challenge.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Well, one of the big things I know that LA is working on is the mayor has called for a car-free Olympics coming up in a few years. How is LA Metro getting ready for that? You as COO, that's a big responsibility.
We've been doing an awful lot. We started our planning process probably more than a year ago.
Okay.
We've really dived into all the different venues that are, at least we know of today, which is probably over 80 different venues.
Where there's going to be events going on?
Where there's going to be events going on, identifying what we expect the demand to be by day and time of day, and then really understanding how many buses we're going to need to provide that service. So far, we're looking at needing 2,700 buses for this Games Enhanced transit system, which is going to enhance our existing transit system with point-to-point services from temporary park and ride lots and mobility hubs over to the venues themselves.
Okay.
And in order to come up with the 2,700 buses, we're really looking to our partners, the entire transit industry, asking other transit agencies to borrow buses. We're talking to the school districts, other colleges and universities to see if we can use their fleets as well. And then we're starting our own contingency fleet because we want to make sure that we have a zero or near zero emissions bus fleet for the Olympics. And that includes electric buses as well as CNG buses.
Wow, that's something. So even though the Olympics is a few years off, you're getting ready for it now, huh?
Yeah, we definitely need to start now. There's so much to do to get ready for the Olympics. The planning is one piece, but really getting all of the agreements in place, getting the temporary park and ride lots, the mobility hubs, those in place, and of course the fleet. And at that point, we definitely need to make sure that we can get a significant amount of operators, mechanics, supervisors to help out within that short duration of time.
So you got to ramp up hiring, everything now.
It's basically like starting a new transit system.
Hey, Salita, great to be with you here at LA Metro. Tell us some about the role of a Chief Innovation Officer at a big transit agency like this.
Every transit agency that has a Chief Innovation Officer does it a little bit differently. So here at LA Metro, my portfolio includes major events, which include, of course, the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. But before that, the 2026 World Cup, which is being hosted around the United States and North America.
Olympics is on everybody's mind with just the Paris Games and all that, but it's coming here to LA. And I know the mayor has declared this is going to be a car-free, transit-first Olympics. Tell me how you all are getting ready for that.
So the first thing that pops into people's minds, usually when they think about Los Angeles, it might be celebrities, beaches, maybe the Kardashians, but the next thing is usually traffic. And so the idea that this region is going to be able to host an event of this size and caliber in a way that really prioritizes transit and reduces people's reliance on getting around by car feels very exciting, I think, to people in this region, and also very encouraging to people around the world, particularly in other cities where the idea of doing something like that feels very visionary and very aspirational.
So I want to go from Union Station to Santa Monica Pier, but I got one question. How do I get there?
Well, from Union Station, you can take the A line to Little Tokyo Station. From there, you can take the E line directly to Santa Monica.
Stephen, we're at your beautiful station at Santa Monica. Thanks for being with us, man.
Oh, thanks so much for coming here to visit and check it out.
One thing I noticed here that just started recently is something you call your Tap to Exit program. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're really excited to be able to roll this out. This is actually our second station that we have rolled this out to. We started this the day after Memorial Day at a different end-of-line station in North Hollywood. We saw some really strong results there. In fact, not only did we see reported incidents on our Transit Watch app, that's our See Something, Say Something app, we saw incidents of smoking, drugs, and alcohol. Those reports were down 60% throughout the entire summer, and we wanted to roll this out. Our Thankfully, because of our board being very supportive, we're rolling this out to other end-of-line stations, just like the one that we're at here today, including downtown Santa Monica. And here we're already seeing very promising data. In total, we've seen over the fare gates alone at these 2 stations, we've been able to process over 500,000 exits that have actually automatically corrected 50,000 unpaid rides that we've been able to capture here.
Stephen, one of the other cool things you guys have done recently here is something called an open elevator door program. What's that about?
Well, this is something that we actually have been looking out to the rest of our transit agency partners, including in Denver. And thank you to our collaboration with RTD Denver. We took an idea that they started actually, and they saw some promising signs. One of the challenges we have in our elevators, unfortunately, is unwanted activity, such as sheltering in the elevator, using drugs, urinating in the elevators. And when we thought about a lot of this is because the environmental design when an elevator is not in use is the doors are closed. And that provides the privacy for someone to be able to engage in unwanted activity. What we thought then was, what if when the elevators are not being used, they actually hold open? Just like you would see in a hotel lobby, oftentimes the doors are open until you're waiting to get in. And we found actually not only a substantial improvement in cleanliness, our custodians are reporting 60% drops in urination, in vandalism inside those elevators, which is helping actually improve our operational costs. But we've actually learned from our ambassadors that riders with bicycles, children in strollers are having a much easier time getting in and out of those elevators.
They don't have to push a button.
Exactly, they don't have to push a button. They have plenty of time to get in. They don't have to rush as the doors are closing. And they know as they're going in, they have that natural surveillance for them to go in. And so we see a huge turnaround in the elevator conditions at those newer elevators that we've been able to cut over to that improvement.
So we're on the Santa Monica Pier. Look, Tulsa, we finally made it to the end of the line on Route 66. Today we're going to show you all the food, fun, and culture there is here in the Santa Monica area of Los Angeles. Big part of the cuisine scene in LA at the beach, of course, is you sit at the beach side, the ocean's right there, and you get some great California fresh food, like a Cobb salad, like the ceviche, or the mahi-mahi tacos. Fantastic beach food. Now we're here at the American Public Transportation Association opening reception for their annual conference. Inside, we're going to do a book signing. Come join us. Inside, we gave away autographed copies of my latest book, The New Future of Public Transportation, along with some of the collaborators. And I was happy to host a Transit Unplugged Live CEO Roundtable with the top CEOs and executives of some of the world's largest transit agencies, including London, Detroit, San Diego, Austin, and Hong Kong. Andre, tell us about how paratransit services are provided in this massive county of Los Angeles County.
Well, we're a very unique paratransit system, because we're independent. We're not part of a larger transit system. We have our own independent board. And number two, we're also the largest coordinated paratransit system in the United States. So we provide paratransit services on behalf of 46 fixed route agencies in Los Angeles County.
Toby, we're inside this one-of-a-kind HOLON vehicle that is an autonomous vehicle soon to be made in America. Tell us about it.
That's exactly right. So we're just proud to announce about 2 weeks ago that this is going to be built in Jacksonville, Florida. So the Holon Mover, these serial production units will come offline starting September of 2026. This is a 15-passenger vehicle, fully automated up to level 4 capability, powered by the Mobileye drive system. So this is something that will achieve speeds of closer to 40 miles an hour. We'll have the opportunity to do various use cases, everything from campus solutions, first and last mile connectivity, connecting to mobility hubs. And we really feel like this is going to be a great way to drive ridership into the broader ecosystem of our transportation.
Matt, one of the great things I love about what you do in Jacksonville and for our industry is you're the first one. When I was CEO of Baltimore, I remember you were head of APTA. Right, and you said, Paul, we need to move into a model of being just a transit provider to a mobility aggregator. Talk about that for a minute.
I truly believe in terms of holistic transportation solutions. And the better that we walk, bike, public transit, automobiles, that entire spectrum needs to be harmonious. And we need to have that kind of thinking when we develop our transportation infrastructure and not think from siloed modal type of perspectives. I don't think it's in the best interest of moving people in the future.
Next, we took a walk through the downtown of Los Angeles to the city police headquarters to find out how the city is planning to handle traffic congestion and parking enforcement now and for the Olympics. Chief Hale, thanks for having us here today in LA.
Hey, pleasure to be here, Paul. I enjoyed the opportunity to meet with you this morning.
So, Chief, tell me about the role of your department.
Well, parking enforcement and traffic control is a very important public safety partner here in the city of LA. Traffic officers, in addition to enforcing parking enforcement in terms of the local ordinances and state law and issue citations, of course, they also direct traffic. And so we receive dozens of requests weekly from LAPD, fire, to assist them in major incidents that they're responding to.
And what will the role be for your department in the upcoming 2028 Olympics?
Well, we're going to have a huge role, as you can imagine, the Olympics. We're excited about the Olympics coming to the city. I had no idea in terms of the magnitude of the number of visitors that are expected for the city. For the Olympics and the Paralympic Games, at 28 days that those events take place, we're expecting 5 million visitors to the city.
Wow.
So if you can imagine, essentially we're more than doubling the population of the city within that 28 days. And so how do we effectively manage that? We've already begun preparations. We need to do this early. The mayor has put forward a vision that the Olympics will be a car-free, transit-first, and so we're working with Caltrans, Metro, in order to develop plans for the safe Olympic and the movement of these people to help facilitate. Public transit is number one in terms of moving folks, but bicycling, pedestrians, all those are going to be an important role in how we get to and from the Olympic venues.
So, Haley, we just heard from the chief about the role they're playing with the Olympics coming up. What do private companies like Trellent do when it comes to working with the city's departments?
With the LA Department of Transportation, we've been fortunate to have about 40 years of long-term partnership with them. We provide them with parking management, citation processing operations, but most importantly, we've been a partner to them. Any type of big data, type of analysis they need, data science, we go above and beyond.
Peter, what do companies like Trellent do to assist the city in congestion management?
Well, Paul, we're currently working with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation on some new congestion management technology that will allow us to better understand how drivers use the city's curbside parking assets and help direct people to lower demand areas where it's more convenient for them to park, as well as help the city determine better pricing for those in-demand areas.
There are many hidden transportation treasures across LA, like this narrow gauge funicular railway that runs in opposite directions on a shared cable up the hill right across from the Grand Central Market on Hill Street in the Bunker Hill District. Thanks for being with us. We had some fun along the way. If you like the show, be sure to like and subscribe right here on YouTube.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. We invite you to join our community of transportation enthusiasts at thetransportationchannel.com. That's where you can upload videos of your transportation experiences and discoveries around the globe. We'll see you next time on the Transportation Channel, where your journey begins now.